So the first real thing for this performance was setting up this room space where everyone sits and who sits where sort of thing. But since the room was kind of set up, we could rearrange the room and like move the chairs about kind of thing. I mean, what would it be like for you to sit back there if you were the audience and listen to someone lecturing like over here, say? I'm just going to stick this up. I don't know if I should really stick it up, but I will since I'm the manager, teacher for now. But you're free to come and move it if you want. And that's my name. But if you can't see it, you might have to sort of move to see it kind of thing. But for those that can see it, it's Asin. And I was thinking of like getting everyone, trying to ask everyone to write their name on a piece of paper and maybe photocopy it later and hand it out to you later on, sort of thing. Or videoing it. We were thinking of videoing it and showing it on the TV. I was thinking of videoing it and sending people documentation afterwards. And that was the kind of idea, to keep it kind of like an open forum kind of thing. But I put my number on there anyway. If we do distribute it, and there's a pen there, if anyone wants to put a name on, they're welcome to do that kind of thing. But so I'm the teacher, I'm giving like the content and I'll set it up and organise, and you're the workers, or you're not the workers, you're just sitting there really, you're just the audience. And I've got my chairs. This is a worker here, he's got me some sellotape, but we already got one already.
Unneeded worker. I'm unemployed now already.
You can join the audience then, or you can speak. Or you were a speaker just there as well. You just said you were unemployed, so you were kind of like the presenter. You were the teacher for a moment, sort of thing.
Brief moment.
Brief moment. Really brief moment. So, what I want to try and get you to be more of like presenters or give you some sort of content. So, if you could maybe write something on those stickers, if everyone's got a pen. If you could write, I don't know, whatever you're...
pens outside actually.
Oh yeah, has anyone got a pen? Does anyone need a pen at all? Yeah?
Just pencil.
I'll get on board here. Pencil, if you just write down the choice of colour.
Yeah. Choice of points. Very politically correct colour.
Is it?
So you could just write down maybe, I don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
Passion.
But anyway, on it, yeah, on that. Or you come and write it here.
So you're a step intellectual experience, aren't you?
What are we writing for?
Maybe suggestions for how this presentation could continue.
Cultural workers.
On the stickers. We have to write our name on it.
You can if you want.
Yeah. I think in the nature of true workers we should have some more instructions for this really.
Unless a student teacher, because you could put a student worker or manager, you could have a student teacher, you can combine a role with student teacher more easily. Student and manager or worker.
Or student and manager. Then student and manager.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's a different relationship, isn't it? It's like, if you get a student teacher, but you don't get a student worker, teachers the worker.
Right.
Things
Unless
like
we're
that.
learning the job, maybe.
The managers get trained, but they're not students.
Pretty bullshit everywhere.
I think we should have a strike, don't we?
Yeah, I'll go for that one. Yeah. Strike! Strike!
Yeah, or we could have an occupation. Or is that too much like a student thing?
But I saw it more as like you are one of them and then you change to another one of them, rather than being them simultaneously. You sort of be one and then you be another one.
What's that simultaneously then?
that at the same time?
Well, like student teaching, they've done it two at the same time.
Oh, but not as student worker, what you can't.
No, you can't really. No, you just got to be in the crowd, haven't you?
But I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, where's my wage?
What?
I want to be at work and I want my wage.
Yeah. Oh, with that, yeah. Strike!
I'm quite into the strike with it.
Yeah, off the wages, get the wages first. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm a bit lost here really.
Oh, fucking intellectual.
You're having a slide.
Well, I was trying, like, because I'm the teacher, or because I'm telling you stuff.
You're not though. Tell us stuff.
Well, just tell me this stuff.
Oh, this.
Right, it's spread, isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not.
So inform us.
So,
Reformers?
I've done that. Really. Didn't want to do. I haven't really got that much more to inform.
So where's the team from?
After the
You can
strike.
take one in whenever you want. Really.
Where is the
There's
team?
a picture over there.
Yeah.
You could have a tea break if you want.
Coffee break's going to be loads of
And what about the workers what got to make the tea then?
Then you have to make the tea yourself. So when you're making the tea, then you're the worker. When you're drinking the tea, then you're...
Leisure class.
Boy, we're not having none of that here.
When I'm writing stuff, I sort of thought that you were... I don't know, you could sort of be the teacher or informing me. Or informing, I don't know, someone else. So. But it depends what we do with it afterwards. I mean, you can just write whatever... What you think, if you just don't know, you just
Can we have writing checks except everyone can't write check is illiterate?
So, does he?
No, on the checker line.
Nothing,
so then we have some material, we just give some material.
I don't want that to my wages, I don't want that.
So you can find that when you can.
I don't understand.
Well, they invented robots, didn't they, them Slavic people?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what it means, mate. Robot means to work at it. Right, see?
I've got a handout given to everyone.
See? Well, we're going to have to survive from handouts, mate. No, we want our wages. That's it. I want strike. Who's the union representative here?
Oh no.
I'm just a troublemaker, freelance, mate.
Yeah, we're not done with unions, so it's very
Yeah. Free autonomous workers. Yeah.
Well, but not self-managed alienation. Self-managed liberation.
Could I have a handout, please?
Oh, Christ, an artist.
It's a bit of a shadow.
I'll make it.
Maybe we should
Thanks.
all,
Sort of
Stickers.
stand up and put these stickers on each other's
Bums.
bums.
Why not?
Do that,
Why not
and then see what happens then.
If we put one forward,
Still bums.
Huh?
what we can do is we all write instructions, we stick them on each other's foreheads, and then the person has to work out what's on their forehead.
Let's do
And they
that.
have to try to see what's on their forehead.
We all need to stand up. I'm the teacher now, so we all need to stand up. If you just write in English, anything that comes into your head, I'll just show you mine. Don't write your name if you don't want to. And you just stand up and we move the chairs back a bit.
In the conference, Pippa, I suppose, was like an organiser of the new whole School of Art. And the teacher is like the presenter, which was me as well. And the worker was kind of me, because I did some of the work, but also some other people, like my geezer here, is documenting, and he's a worker, classic style. documenting it. Someone else was complaining earlier that he had to video these talks for like 2 days or something, and he wasn't too happy about it. He'd been sitting there for 2.5 hours filming these guys chatting on about whatever, and he was a bit pissed off, but no one else was going to do it. And the last one was a student, which is you guys, the audience, and the aim of the performance was to try and get us changing roles. So what I did before was ask people to write something down on the diagram, so that was just kind of getting their view in, and then I was going to collect them up, but
Because I'm terribly, sorry to disappoint you. I mean, in a certain sense, your model has already been implemented, of course. I mean, yesterday I was, teacher, manager, out there speaking.
Right.
This person, I seem to remember also, well, I missed you actually, but here as well,
yeah, no, that's great. That's not disappointing. Yeah. It's more of an observation, isn't it? Really?
Well, I mean, what are you going to do with your model now that it's already been implemented?
Play with it.
Play with it.
That's
Push
what
it
I
further.
want to do. Yeah, or see how you can use it. I mean, it's a sort of
So, to go where?
to have fun.
There's a facilitated movement around the points that are on the chart to learn and to teach. As a sort of model course.
To learn more than we're currently doing or something.
I don't feel that your teaching is very informing us much about what your aims and objectives are in this exercise.
It's a model for an independent school, like this part of this conference. That's what it was sort of.
I don't think they should make you head of marketing.
But to get ideas about how you can facilitate movement around those poles, so how you can, break down the strict sort of barriers between, you know what I mean? Like you can have a work manager who don't have the audience teaching much.
I think you need a bit more structure to make it work. There seems to be an absence.
And maybe actually you're completely overlooking the voluntary nature of the relationship. I mean, I gave worked on a course in Holland which people had to pay, it's a short course that you had to pay to go on it. And the guy who was organising the course, actually said, well, of course people who go on courses are really dummies because, they pay to get information which the people that are giving the courses manage to get for nothing. Sorry.
It's time and effort, isn't it? Sort of thing. They obviously took a lot of time and effort in picking up that information, so they're paying for saving that time and effort.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you get a remarkably good deal. I mean, if the teacher's any good at all. I mean, I think the amount of time that it takes to gather any valuable and relevant information and the time it actually takes to pass it on, it's got absolutely no relationship whatsoever. I mean, it's like 20 years and 10 minutes, in fact. In economic terms, I mean, to ask students to pay a 10-minute lecture, which costs 20 years to prepare, and if it's good, will take the student another 20 years to actually understand what you said.
What you're saying is you've got to explain to
Learning from mistakes.
Yeah, well, that's how you learn. Yeah, I mean, even Kant says that. He's one of my Titan idealist philosophers.
I'm sorry, I don't think I was saying that actually. I mean, what I said was, it's a voluntary relationship. This thing which is put here as a dictatorship is, I think, a voluntary relationship. And people probably don't realise that. And when they do realise that, then things, I mean, all the teachers. I mean, I haven't seen anybody who's given a lecture here complain about, having to sit in the public and listen to, well, I mean, I suppose I did actually keep interrupting. I mean, are there any students sitting here who are absolutely desperately frustrated and absolutely desperately want to go and sit in the blue chair and give a lecture? Because, I mean, I'm sure
No, but I'd like in a lecture to be able to talk freely and stuff like that. I find it.
Yeah, sorry. One point was that you brought up earlier about the guy that's been filming these things. He was the first guy that I met when I came here, and he was saying, well, what is this human nature? What does everyone mean by the bourgeois? He didn't feel that he could ask that question, which I think is very sad, and something that's very wrong with this teacher-student relationship. I studied it.
Well, I think it's not actually this teacher-student relationship. That I mean, I think it's the nature of.
Nature of what? Sorry.
Well, I think in senses we were slightly discussing about this morning with the nature of academia and theoretic dogma. And I think that's more the problem. I mean, I think a student, of course, with a good teacher can say, what's the bourgeoisie? What does this mean? What does that mean? And the teacher will, within the limits of their power, try and answer them. But unfortunately, through academia and things, there's been a language which is developed, which is pure language of career structure, which has absolutely got nothing to do with whatsoever with reality.
Absolutely.
And this is used to impress people and to alienate people. That's not the basic teacher-student relationship. That is something else.
Absolutely, and I agree with you. But what I'm saying is I'm Aslam's partner, and I've had huge discussions with him in the run-up to this lecture, and I've been criticising everything that he said about this diagram, about this lecture. But what I get from what he's saying, because I see that everyone's looking quite negative on this talk, is that the idea was, for me, that I got from you, was that Aslam is an incredible networker, and I think networking and communicating, and the idea of this is ideally that we can communicate with one another on an equal sort of basis, and what do you want to network? To talk to people, really. I think that what? I mean, we talk all the time. Well, you say we talk all the time, but it depends who you are. I stayed very quiet for my 2 years at college, and when I got into my third year, I suddenly realised that the teachers, the authority, the people who were getting my money, were human beings, and I had a lot to learn from them. I felt very restricted from a very liberal college not to be able to do that. I felt very intimidated and when I finally broke through that, it was a revelation, and I could get everything out of it.
I was going to say, so the essential question is, why did it take you 2 years to suss out that?
That's what I want to know. I mean, I know people that go through 3 years, 4 years, and still haven't broken that, and had a miserable time at college, wasted 4 years, and didn't really get much out of it. There are always a clique at the top, that the students are buddies with the teachers, but a lot of them get dropped out, and the very talented people get dismissed, and I think it's a way of just trying to bring some sort of, I don't know, this is how I've interpreted your stuff. You don't ever theorise what you're thinking.
No, I mean,
it's not so difficult to theorize it, actually, because what is being forgotten here, or in your experience, is that in an education situation there are two distinctly different types of knowledge that are being transferred. One is knowledge, which is something that can be transferred by a variety of means. It can be recorded, it can be passed on, it can be skipped through any great contact, it can be forgotten and then recovered, and so on. And the other type of knowledge I would call know-how, which cannot quite ever be recorded. Once it is forgotten or lost, it cannot be recovered, and that's that which is only transferred through direct contact. And it may not even be transferred consciously. So, for instance, you can learn from a carpenter all kinds of aspects of carpentry which constitute the knowledge of carpentry. But you can only learn the know-how from the carpenter by actually working with the carpenter. Again, exactly where the carpenter holds the soul. It's not something that cannot be actually translated by any other means. Now that transfer is not unidirection. It doesn't just work from one person to the other. It kind of takes place between the transfer that takes place in two directions at once through the interface. Now, really the question here is the question as to why the existing models of art education, or the model that you have experienced, does not somehow blocks that kind of contact in one direction. Why we don't have one way? But you can only ask that if you distinguish between the two different types of knowledge. Because in other words, you need a different type of student-teacher relationship for the transfer of know-how, and a different one.
I would actually disagree with that, because I think actually knowledge isn't as solid as the true system knowledge is also a two-way.
But you could say it's a different nature of relationship. It's different between an apprenticeship and student-teacher relationship. You could then differentiate the relationship.
But I still think this is the wrong direction, because I think the essential question is still, why did it take 2 years for you to suss that out? And is that your fault, or is it the teacher's fault? And I don't mean that, just it's our fault. But structurally, no, I don't think it is. Because, you can have somebody there who's, the communication of knowledge could take place. But, if the student is sitting there and saying, "You're such an authority that I can't pick up this saw in your presence," or I can't listen to this idea that you're telling me because you're such an authority and your authoritarianism is overwhelming me, then it doesn't matter what kind of knowledge. The essential problem is that student has just built a wall between themselves and the teacher, and how do you get rid of that?
But the know-how of teaching is teaching itself in a way. A know-how of learning is the learning. It's the how and the what that I'm trying to distinguish. I'm improvising. I need to kind of think about it perhaps a bit more.
I'm sorry, but I really think it's the wall the student puts there that we
Change is now presented by the setup of the space, by the setup of the relationship. One teacher at the front, talking, handouts, whatever. If you're dyslexic, if you have a problem with your eyesight, you can't follow. It's only a certain occasionally caters to a certain type of person. And we talk about art, and we talk about what we're talking about is everyday life, to everyone about quality, about not what you are, all of that.
Come on, that's what it is to a certain extent. But people that teach in art colleges are generally people that are the kind of people that fail in education systems but have somehow managed to fight their way through and find a little niche somewhere in the system. So, although they're part of the system, they're also largely against it, unless they're real arseholes, or being converted so much they don't know where the difference is.
There is another part of the problem with the institution is that it forces the teachers to act in a certain way regardless of what they
that may be
because they want to get their wages at the end of the month, and the fact is that students are being tested, the teachers put the position of judging the students. There's an entirely unfull power relationship going on, which no matter how much both parties may or may not want it to be mutual, isn't at the end of the day.
Okay. But I think that's a good point. But I think it is important. Where are these things coming from, and how much is because personally, I've really been frustrated. I've been working in a college where to be honest, it was paradise. Believe me, there was no structure whatsoever. Nothing. And then I was standing in front of these kids, and I would, desperately try and give them something, but there would just be this wall there, and if even something, I tried to give a workshop on something, and I said, for Christ's sake, why won't you ourselves listen? Why won't you try and learn from this thing, And they said, well, just because you're telling us it, we're not going to do it, And you think, well, I can understand that to a certain extent, but it's also extremely tragic. That I spent a long time, preparing and trying to divide, to give. I say, don't be so stupid. This wall isn't there. Break it down.
And you do that by talking to people. And I think the central thing is, at the end of the day, communication and that closeness, that person. It's the essence of learning and teaching as well. That helps you learn. So it passes that authority on sometimes. That's a good thing.
So I mean, in that sense, I think your performance has been remarkably successful.
What time is it?
3 o'clock.
Oh, isn't it the same?
I've been asked if you want to wind this up, or,
Okay.
I mean, obviously the discussions can continue.
And I had wound itself up quite
Yeah, we've got a few more speakers booked to talk. Later on this afternoon we'll have Tina King and Hunt Lemke and Pavel Buckler. But in the meantime I've been asked to read out this paper by Monica Ross, who cannot be here today, but I've been talked into reading it out myself.